Hello, everybody, and welcome to another video. Today, I am live on YouTube with my top 5 pandemic language facilitation opportunities. So, I'm going to share with you the chances, the opportunities, the things that this pandemic is offering you that you wouldn't have otherwise. So many people are looking at this pandemic as the glass half empty. We lost a lot of things because of this, including a lot of lives. And it is super sad for the things that we lose. And the more time we spend in the energy of thinking about the things that we're losing, we're wasting energy and time and effort and action that we can spend to actually move forward in our lives and help. And so, what I'm going to do today is talk to you about some ideas that you can use now during the pandemic that might solve problems that you've had in your household for a while. So you can actually come out at the end of this in better condition than you did when the pandemic started. So that's what I'm hoping that you're going to be able to use these ideas for. So if this is the first time that you're joining me, welcome. If you're joining me live, I am doing Q&A. So this is the chance for you to put a question in the comment section to let me know what's going on with your child, give me a progress update, ask me a question about your process, or if you're watching during the video and you have questions about the strategies that I'm presenting, then you can post a question. If you're watching on the replay, welcome back for another video. I'm so glad you're here, and I really hope that you can use these strategies as well. Right now, please take a moment to like this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, that's a good thing to do right now. Hit the little bell. It's important so that you are notified every time I go live twice a week, and then you won't miss an opportunity to ask me questions the next time if you want. So, this is your chance to get a little bit of free coaching, a little bit of here and there, back and forth about your child whenever you can catch me live. So, that's always a great opportunity. So, thanks for watching today. Let's get into these 5 tips. Now, the first one is a little bit obvious, and just so you know, I have done individual videos about each one of these ideas. So this video is about reminding you about the ideas. And if you want to dig deeper into each one of these areas I'm talking today, you can find a follow-up video in the playlist that I have on my YouTube channel that is the strategies playlist. So watch for the idea in this video that you like, and then pop over and watch another video to give you more in detail depth, how to dig into that area. All right, so let's get into the first. And I see a few people joining me. Hello, don't be afraid to say hi. I love it when people interact with me, especially live. All right, so let's get into these top 5 tips. And the first one, of course, is sort of obvious. It's about wearing masks and socially distancing and all of those things that are needed for your child to be aware of in the community, for your community rules, regs, and consider, this is my tip for you in this one, is to consider teaching your child to go overboard. Even though in your world, maybe only certain ages of kids are expected to wear masks and not little kids, maybe they're not required at their school, but they're required in stores, and you don't take your child to stores, so you're just kind of trying to avoid this whole mask face shield situation with your child. And my suggestion for you is don't avoid it, use it as an idea. Get little masks, play with masks, just like Halloween, right? Just like any other time that you're dressing up, putting on things, putting on clothes. When you dress up for a reason with different things. Firemen wear hats to protect their heads. Doctors wear masks to protect themselves, right? In your pandemic pretend play time that you are teaching your child about masks. Again, there's a whole video about this. You are showing your child that there are things going on in the world that they should be aware of. You're training your child and you're not relying on anybody else, the school, the teacher, the shopkeeper, the anybody else to tell your child they've got to put on a mask, because you have taught them that that potentially could happen to them, because it really could, right? Even if you have decided that your child might not need to wear a mask, or your child's doctor has decided, or you have a waiver even for your child to not have to wear a mask, you should teach them how to wear a face shield. You should teach them how to wear something that will protect themselves, so they can not just protect themselves, protect other people. Obviously, that's the first reason for it. But the second and better reason is that they understand why it's going on. Why do they have to do it? Even if you're not making your child do it all the time, or you're ever making your child do it, pretend it sometimes. Introduce it to your child. Make sure they know that masks and hand washing and hand sanitizer and keeping clean and protecting ourselves is very important. And you just tell them that's what it is. That's how we're doing this. So, hey, Vanessa, so nice to see you. Don't forget, if you're joining me live, this is Q&A time. So if you have a question, go ahead and put your question in. So idea number one is talk about masks and hand washing. Practice it, pretend play it with your baby dolls and your Barbies and your stuffies and everybody else. Put masks on them. It is the new norm for the foreseeable future, is there will be masks everywhere. The pandemic hasn't gone. It's not going up or down in certain areas, maybe, but it's not going away, and masks are also not going away. So use masks, learn it, use this opportunity to teach your child some language, because most of the language that you're teaching your child, it isn't anything specific to academics or ABCs or anything else that anybody else really wants your child to learn. It's really all about teaching your child what they need to learn to be successful in life. For you at home, people in schools, therapists, teachers, academics, they have requirements of things they have to teach. Parents, you have to teach what your child needs to be successful. That's what you have to teach. And if those things at school or whatever at this stage in the game are not resonating with your everyday life, then maybe you should consider putting some of those things on hold to move into some of these other ideas that I have. So, once your child knows about masks and you want something else to learn to teach them, you have to teach them how to use technology to be social with people. You just have to show them how to use it. Show them how to use a video camera, and you use it with their favorite people. Use it with grandma, use it with their cousins, use it with their friends. Use it room to room with your phones if you have to practice, okay? One person with your child, another person there. Show them that the other person is interested in them. Show them the other person, they can share things. Show them how to share, show and tell. Practice just communicating. No rules, no rigidity. No, you got to stay here. Make that teleconferencing, whether it's for school, for grandma, for anybody, make it part of your everyday life. Meetings are happening this way. Even if your child is not participating in the online telesessions, like my clients, I don't see the kids at all. I don't work with them. The parents work with them, but the parents have to work with me. So they have to get on telemeetings, and they need their kids to leave them alone for a little bit so they can listen to me and learn from me. These are the things you need to teach your child. You need to teach them that online learning is existing, and online communication is the new way we get information, because we're here at home, we're staying home, we're protecting ourselves. And how do we get information? From the outside world. Your kids are already used to getting information passively. They're watching screens, the things they choose. You need to get them to learn to choose to interact with the person on the other side of the screen. Even if it's grandma saying hi and you want to facilitate working on that, okay? Just teaching about how the mechanism works, where you have to plug in the webcam, where the settings are in the whole situation, where the microphone is, where the camera is, where your child can look to see that they're looking into the camera versus looking at people. Show them how to see themselves on camera. All of these things are going to be important because the communication of the world right now during the pandemic is teleconference everything. If they aren't using it themselves with grandma, they're going to see you using it with grandma. Teach your child about it. Okay. So that's the second one. Number 3 is these are the next two are management. Okay. So the next one is food management. One of the things that happens in a pandemic time when nobody's going out is that food and schedules in general get out the window. And you eat when you want, you eat when you're bored, you eat when you're hungry, you eat for all different kinds of reasons. And kids will use food, requesting food, begging for food, wanting to cook food, all of that around because they're bored, because there's nothing else structured going on. If they're not going out to school, if they're not going out to therapy, if you are not going out to work, just the fact that you leave them with a babysitter when you go to work and come back after work, the babysitter or daycare provider, they have a schedule in their day because they can't have kids wanting food all day long. They have things to do, other learning, playing, exploring, things they do. And it's not about just eating food. But at home, when kids don't have a schedule in their day, they will go for food because that is the one thing they know happens every day. Somebody cooks food and delivers it to them, and it breaks up their day. So during the pandemic, it will behoove you to manage your food eating schedule, access to food, who is cooking food, how is cooking food being prepared, does mom do it by herself, do kids help with that, and how much do they help? And if you stay in control over this food and stay ahead and make the rules and regs about it, we have 3 squares a day and 2 snacks, we have snacks at this time, these are the things we can have for snacks, and it doesn't have to be we eat every day at 6 p.m., but it has to be consistent enough for your child to know what to expect around food. That way, when you have expectations laid out, cleared out, this is when we eat. We are not eating at times that it's not eating times. I always used to like to use the it's time when there's no watch on my hand. It's time to eat, meaning that's just a gesture to know we're transitioning into that activity right now. And kids will look for food for fun when they're bored because it's super fun to eat ice pops and candy and cookies and biscuits and all kinds of fun things. And it also fills their time getting you to stop doing whatever you're doing, dragging you to the kitchen, facilitating fixing that food for them and having them get it. They like watching you meet their needs. Watching you meet their needs is probably, if your kid is asking for food a lot, more of the intent for them to ask for food is just to have time and interaction with you than their actual hunger for food, right? So managing food, I've done videos about this too. Managing your food in your everyday life is another way for you to use this time at home to overcome an issue. A lot of kids are trying to use food to control their parents when they don't have any kind of rigid structure or any kind of structure at all to go by to make them feel comfortable. Kids need structure to make them feel regulated and comfortable. If you don't know what's going on, what's happening next in your life, then you can run into trouble of being bored or getting into trouble yourself, right? So it's important to keep food. You can use meal times, snack times as schedule markers in your day. You can use the choices of food that your child eats as a way to teach what we do eat, what doesn't eat. Use healthy choices. Show your child how to shift from unhealthy choices into healthy choices. You're home. You're cooking the 3 meals a day. You're the one planning the snacks. just start choosing to buy healthier things so that in the house these things are happening, and help your child transition from, oops, there's no more Cheetos in the house. I guess we have to make a fruit salad together. So if your child wants you as part of their food request, then give them more time of you. Help them fix the food, help them choose the food, help them be part of that. Okay. So, the other thing that you can manage during this is household responsibilities, right? So, just like you are at home having to feed your kids all day, you're at home having to clean up after them all day. They're making messes, they're throwing stuff around, and you should include your child in all stages of their play and opportunities. That's what language facilitation helps you with. When you talk about the prep, we need these toys to play this activity. Get the toys out, play the activity, your train table, your baby dolls, your Lego blocks, your puzzles, your ABCs, whatever it is. Are they stored? How do we get them out? Now we're going to play with them. Now we got to clean them up and put them away where they're done. Involve your child in all the parts of their play, but also involve them in the chores and jobs that you have to do for your family. Involve them in laundry, involve them in cleaning up, involve them in wiping windows, involve them in whatever they can and are willing to do with you. While you are home, you're going to save yourself a ton of anxiety having to do this cooking and cleaning up stuff after your kids go to bed, and you're filling their time while they're awake. Instead of being bored and wanting to run around getting in trouble, trying to leave the house, trying to climb into cabinets, you're involving them in the activities that you have to do anyway. So involve your child in the cleanup, involve your child in the prep work for cooking. And so all of the household things that you have to do, cleaning the car, even in the car, making sure the car is clean. Anything that you can start to teach your kids to do as far as personal responsibility and household responsibility. These are the opportunities you have. You're home, your kid is bored, your kid wants you to fill their time, and you've got chores to do. Meet the two together. This is an amazing combo benefit because now you're establishing new management of who gets chores done and everybody has more fun. Same with food. And then the third thing that you're going to manage, so this is tip number 4, is to manage your entertainment. Okay. Just like I said before with food and getting into trouble making messes, your kids will use tablets, TV time. They'll want to get sucked into that world because there's a million things there for them to see. And as a parent with a child who's home during the pandemic, or even if they're going to school part-time during the pandemic, it doesn't matter. During this pandemic, it's going to be really important for you to monitor your child's screen time. All of the school things are going to be on telesessions. They're going to be encouraged to watch videos. They're going to be encouraged to do little puzzles and games and Starfall and phonics things and reading comprehension and math stuff on these little apps that you're going to get on your computer. All of that screen time adds up. You must balance the screen time with pretend play and actual physical opportunities where you're teaching your child functional things, not academics, how to use their reading when they're cooking, how to use their reading when you're on a walk and you identify the names of the stores, how to use their numbers for counting out things when you're measuring, when you're cooking, when you're sharing toys. You get a car, I get a car. We get 5 cars. You have 5 cars, I have 5 cars. How many cars do we have together, right? You're going to be using your everyday fun and play to keep your child entertained. If it isn't fun, it isn't fun. And if you use your chores, you make those fun. You use your academics, you make those fun. You use your fun play time, the things that your child wants to do. If they want to go out more because you only have to spend 30 minutes online every day and you've got the rest of the day, go out twice. Spend 6 hours outdoors at the playground today. I mean, spend more time doing what your child wants to do And, getting these ideas out in the world, the things that they are at home getting into, help them to bring their ideas to the world by making them fun. That is entertaining for a child. It doesn't have to be waiting for someone else to talk, 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 talk. If you're showing them new things, exploring new things together. So you manage your child's entertainment and manage their screen time. Because, like I said, when we talk about management here, it doesn't mean you don't do any and laying around sometimes, because you do have more time to lay around at home. You do have more time to rest. You have more time to go out. You have more time to play. You have more time to do everything. But you also have more time to do chores. You have more time to learn. You have more time to functionally improve your everyday life, because you're not having to put backpacks together and get kids out to school and commute in the car and do all of those things, right? So use the things that you were already doing every day and make them fun. That's where entertainment comes from, because you can have fun while you're digging a ditch. If you're singing, if you're talking about the mud, whatever, okay? Just make everything more entertaining and fun in your everyday, and then you will enjoy this time, right? You'll not be missing friends, missing the things that we can't get during the pandemic. Remember, we're looking at this with glass half full. These are opportunities you don't get when you have to go to school. You have all this time to learn how fun you can make dishwashing, right? And if you can't figure out how to make these things fun or do any of these things, there are videos on my YouTube channel for you to learn how, or you can learn to work with me as a client, because what I do with the parents I work with, we go through every single day and we look at everything you have to do and we figure out, how do we make this more fun? How do we make this more interesting? How do we make this a thing I can teach my child instead of have to do for them or coach them through or hand over hand assist them through? All of those everyday things, brushing your teeth, showering, all of that stuff is in this realm of management, self-management. And you don't have to, nobody outside your house can teach these things anyway. You're it. You're there from sun up to sundown, 24/7 with your child right now. Now is your opportunity. And if you miss it, if you let them fall into laziness in the corner, spending 5 hours a day on their iPad doing that stuff, then you need to figure out, if you are working full time and you've got to work and your kids have to have something to do, you have to figure out how to split up your time so that you can get these other things in. Teach them about food management. How can they be independent, more independent for these self-care things if you've got to work? You have to teach your kids to be independent. You can't just expect them on day one. Okay, here you go. I've got to work now. You have to facilitate all of that if you've got to be home. And this is your chance to teach your children to be more independent in your home. Now is your break time. You make sure you take your break time and you learn that from your kids. Your kids learn that from you. I need a break. And if they keep needling you and keep needling you and keep wanting you, then you realize that you haven't met their needs during the day. Because when you teach your kids to independently entertain themselves with something besides a tablet, then they can go play. Right? That's what you want most, to be able to, I'm busy doing something. Can you go play for half an hour? That's the dream of most parents. Teach your kids to do that. They won't know how unless you teach them. They won't learn it at school either, or ABA, or speech therapy. They will only learn how to give you space if you teach them how to give you space. So that's an amazing language facilitator. And when you teach your child how to give you space when you need it, they will learn how to ask for space when they need it. So make sure that you give your child space when they ask, if you want the same from them. Okay? Everybody needs to be together when you need to be together, but you need to be apart. Everybody needs a break too. And you used to get a break when you went out in the world. That commute after you dropped your kid off, that was your chance to listen to what you wanted on the radio and do stuff like that. If you need to leave your child and go have a drive drive so that you can listen to whatever you want on the radio. That's part of your management, right? That's why it's not everything for my child to my expense as a parent, because we've got a pandemic now and I've got to be the teacher, I've got to be the cook, I've got to be the everything. Yeah, you have to do some of the things that those people used to do for you now. That's true, but you don't have to be them. You just be mom or dad or whoever you are, grandma, auntie, whoever you are watching this video. Your child expects you to be that person, not your teacher. They know your teacher is somebody else. They know their therapist is somebody else. They love you. They know you are there, and you are the one who is, I don't want to say stuck, but if you're feeling stuck with your kid, it's because you're not using these other things. If you feel stuck with your child right now, it's because you're relying on somebody else to teach them instead of figuring out how to teach them yourself. Because that's the most important thing to learn during a pandemic. This virus, it's not going away. You're going to be home with your kids. You can't rely on other people, and they can't help you teach these things, right? These things I'm talking about today, how to manage the food in your household, how to manage all of that stuff, the entertainment, how much screen time your child has, that's all you. That's all you as parents to manage right now. And this is your chance while you're home with your kids. If you didn't do it last spring, you got to reset right now, because some kids are going to schools, other kids are not going to school. They might go to school later. We don't know. We still have a pandemic. The only thing that you can definitely rely on 100% without fail is yourself. That's it. And these ideas will give you something to do when nobody else is telling you what to do, right? This is really, really, really important. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. They're not going to teach your kid these things anyway. That's why these are an opportunity. If you look at this time at home as an opportunity, Vanessa says, what a great reminder. It's so perfect. You have to teach these things anyway. Anyway. Food management, sleep management. When is your kid going to bed? You know, there's another one. These are all, they all fall under these self-care. This self-responsibility, household responsibility. It's your responsibility to get to bed. It's your responsibility to be clean. It's a responsibility to clean up after yourself. Responsibility to look after your friends and share, and your siblings and your parents, right? We all look after each other. You train your family to be a family unit. Train them to use each other. You don't have consistent outside responsibility or assistance. Even the families who work with me as clients, I coach them. I'm not in their house teaching them how to do it. They try things. That's what you got to do. You got to give it a try, right? So those were the 5. Let me talk about them really fast. Wearing masks and hand washing, that's number 1. Number 2, distance socialization. Teach your child how to at least say hi and show them something, and blow kisses and give air hugs and whatever. Teach them how to do that, because that's what's coming around. Number 3 is your home management of your meal time and sleep time. Manage your schedule, manage your time. What do we eat when? Where do we eat? What time? Where in the house is another big deal. Do we eat in the kitchen only, or do we have food all over the place? Okay. Your cleanup will reflect your management. Okay. If you don't want to spend time after the kids are going to sleep, scrubbing stuff out of the carpet, then you got to have rules around food. Okay. It's just how it goes. And you can do that. You can do that, because if kids can learn rules at school, they can learn rules and boundaries at home. Okay, so that was number 3. Number 4 is entertainment, or number 4 is household responsibilities, chores, things that you normally would do without your child. Start to get your child to do those things with you. That's number 4. Number 5 is entertainment management. Watch that screen time. I know you're doing it anyway, but remember, some screen time is, if it's functional, if the kids are learning, if these apps are working, if they're engaged and smiling and following the directions and doing that thing with the app, brilliant. Make sure you're part of that. Make sure you're with them. Make sure you're doing with them what they're doing, and then you will learn. They will learn how to manage. And then when iPad time is over and they have had their fun, interactive screen experience through school or whatever they were going going to do, then put it on the charger and put it away and let your child be part of that. I've done tech time videos, I've done entertainment videos, I've done food videos, I've done sleep videos. You can find all of those resources on my website or on my YouTube channel for sure. And on my website, you can find the resources on how to find them. That's how you learn to get in and work with me as a client. You can learn the process because it's a big deal at the beginning of language facilitation that you identify the problems, you identify the blockages. Where are you struggling? Where is your child struggling? Because with language facilitation, it's not a canned curriculum we use with everybody. You make it up. You decide what are the biggest issues that we have going on right now in our family. Because what's happening in the first grade classroom isn't even going to be the same that's happening in the first grade classroom in a month from now, or that happened last month. And your child needs to learn language forever. This is a lifetime journey. And when you take responsibility to be the language facilitator and learn how to do it yourself, these tips and tricks that I'm doing on these videos, they are just ideas. Everything that I say, you have to take, you have to think about your family and your child. How many people are in your household? Is it just you and your spouse and your child? Is it just you and your child? Or do you have a household full? Do you have multiple generations in your household? You might have a lot of people either helping you on your language facilitation journey, or maybe they're kiboshing your language. They're telling you that stuff doesn't work. You have to go back to this stuff. All of that mindset work, all of those things. Maybe you're hearing from professionals, like you started telesessions and it's not going well and your child's not participating and you don't know what to do. That's when you would work with a coach or consultant to help you figure out what to do. Because you, as parents, I'll say this every session, every video, are the best language facilitators. And like Vanessa realized too on this video, there are many, many language things that even if school was open, they wouldn't be teaching your child. They don't teach them these home management kinds of things. You are responsible for teaching those things. It'll never come unless you're working with a coach to help you teach the things at home. And that's how I work with parents. I look at videos, we talk about what you're doing, and I find the things that parents are doing that's working great. I find the things that are literally blocking the process for your child. And they come from mindset traps. They come from old habits. They come from parents trying to be teachers or parents trying to be therapists. Subconsciously, all of those things happen and come in. That's why it's really important, if you don't know what to do, if you don't have a therapist who will talk to you, that you need to get with somebody to figure it out, because you're going to be very frustrated. It goes like this. The process, it's called waves of communication, because there are a lot of downs. When things happen like pandemics that affect, you can't see your friends, there negative things happen, you lose friends, you lose ideas, you lose connection, you lose money, you lose school, you lose time, all of that thing that you feel like if you concentrate on losing all of those things, then it sends you in that spiral downward. Oh no, we're never going to have this. And this didn't work. And this didn't work. And your blinders are off of the good stuff, the glass half full stuff, the things that you can teach your child, that you have the opportunity. Wait, we're home now 24/7. I could work on food management now if I really make a decision to dig in and get started and take control and start to drive this language facilitation bus. Or I can wait and watch the school board meetings and complain on YouTube or complain on Facebook about my problem or any of those things, and just hope that, maybe we'll have something different when we have a new election, or maybe someday they'll open, or maybe next year, or maybe whatever. And every single day you're miserable in your house, or the kids are trashing it, or they're asking for food 5 times a day, or you're trying to do telesessions that just don't work for you because you don't have any other option, or you think you don't have any other option, but you do. It's all up to you to decide to use it. That's it. That's what all this is about. I don't see any questions. So if you're joining me today and you have a question, this is your last chance to put a question in while I tell everybody quick. I'm just, as usual, I got to show you my book. It's called If It Isn't Fun, It Isn't Fun. Teach Your Child to Talk Faster Than Speech Therapy. And the reason it's called If It Isn't Fun, It Isn't Fun is because I worked for 30 years in speech therapy world and realized how little fun sometimes those drill work, those things are for both kids and their parents. Countless therapy sessions I sat through with children crying and screaming, where I literally just said, you might as well take him home because it's not going to work now. And parents said, no, I want you to continue. Like, there was a complete disconnect because there was a parent who expected me to miraculously sprinkle fairy dust with my therapy methods, and their kids would come out talking without them doing anything at home. And when I realized that when I make the activities fun, the kids like doing it better. But when parents make their at home activities fun, that's when the magic happens. That's when you really see improvement. And so, check out my book. You can access it on Amazon. You can see it on my website. Every single one of these suggestions I had has a video that goes with it. Look on YouTube in my playlist, tips, my tip of the week playlists or my strategies playlist. There are more than 300 videos on YouTube. And if you want to know how to do the whole process, have me tell you through your day from the time you wake up to the time you fall asleep, then you can go ahead and reach out to me at wavesofcommunication.com. So, Christina, yes, the book is available in the Philippines on Amazon. It's available worldwide. As long as you have Amazon available, I believe it's in the Philippines. I know that I have parents there who have read it. So, you should be able to access it. It's available worldwide on Amazon. And also, there's a 90-minute class on my website. I also have an independent study program to work online. So, if you can't afford to work with me as a private client, you can learn the process online. Lots of parents all over the world are using my book, my YouTube strategies, my free class, and especially that independent study. And they are finding speech when therapy failed. And now is the time. If you are finding yourself presented with options that are not working for you right now, maybe next year they will. Maybe next year it'll be perfect and your child will be able to go to school. But wouldn't it be nicer if, knowing your child's going to be home anyway this year, you just dig in and teach them how to talk so that next year they can go back to a better class? Like, if your kid was set to go into a nonverbal, self-contained class this year in school, and now you're home or you're contemplating being home, maybe because maybe you're not home now. The most severe kids in many districts are already going to school. Private schools are open and holding those things. But even if your child is going to school part-time, sometime, little bit time, there is a real strong chance that they'll come home because they might get quarantined, or someone in their class, a teacher, a classmate, or something like that. If they come in one day with a fever because they've picked up the virus, then you're going to be home for 2 weeks again. And if you use those 2 weeks to do these kinds of strategies, then you'll send your child back not with regression from that break, but with more skills and more interest in learning at school, because you will have managed eating, sleeping, household chores, giving your child more responsibility, all of that stuff. You will have equipped your child with those skills to make them more successful at school. So it doesn't matter if your child is going to school now, full-time, part-time, anytime. These strategies will help you, especially now during the pandemic. And I'm sending you out all a bunch of love and light and positive energy to stay healthy, stay with your kids, and use this time now. Use it to your advantage. Take advantage of this unprecedented opportunity. Look at it for all the positives it can bring you. And then later, when the world opens back up and this virus is history in a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or however long it takes, you're going to come out better and not with less skills. You don't have to experience loss during the pandemic if you use the opportunity to your benefit, okay? That's what everybody who's made it through tough times in their life. Look at all the famous people who had rough upbringings and they persevered through the toughest times in their life and now they're on top of the world. You can find yourself in the same position with your child if your attitude, your mindset, and most of all, your actions are in the right place. And that these strategies will help you get there. At least I hope so. Thanks for joining me again, everybody. I'm going to get out of here for now, keeping this video shorter. I know I always ramble on and I always appreciate your patience. Once again, if you're just joining me and you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, hit the wiggly bell so you know that every time I'm live. And you also will get all those updates that I send through my community. And make sure you like this video too. Share it with your friends. If you know somebody who's out there struggling and they just don't know what to do, there's options. There's options in your house you can do, all on your own, working with these strategies. I know you can do it. Good luck, and I will see you all on my next video. Bye for now.